Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. We're in the middle of a video, but we should probably welcome you.
I was wondering if you're going to go with the actual intro.
Oh yeah.
We took a little break between flights.
We had a brief moment to get some dinner, maybe have a brief cry.
Sure, yeah.
You know,
Is that what you did?
Well, I mean, that first flight was rough.
Yeah, it was kind of.
It was.
So we're back here with the next flight of our Total Wine Experimental Spirits Direct Bourbons. So let's get right into them so we don't yap for too long, because I probably have to edit down that last video.
Yes.
So this first one is Winchester. We're getting a little higher proof now. These are all, I think, 90 or above.
Yeah.
So I believe that says 90 proof. Winchester, never had it before. Let's give her the proverbial day in court.
I want to give it a quick...
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Doesn't
Caramely.
jump out of the glass is a whole lot different than any of those other ones, though.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping a little bit higher proof, which
and some of those other ones, some of those other ones were not that they were terrible, but they were just very, very weak and just nothing really going on.
Otherwise known as terrible.
True, I suppose. All right, let's go for it.
So this has a really nice brown sugar and a garbage flavor.
Brown sugar and garbage?
Like, there is something about this that is...
There's something a little funky about it.
Yeah, maybe Play-Doh, maybe...
Bring the water in here.
I don't know.
Yeah. Not a big fan of that.
No.
It's...
Winchester. No.
I get what you're saying. There's some caramel trying to come through there and some basic bourbon notes, but...
Yeah, there's something in there that is swing and a miss big time. All right,
it was a little funky. So this Lazy River I'm interested in because if I recall...
You like anything with the word lazy in it.
Well, there's that. But besides the Oregon spirits, which I think are a little bit more...
We've had.
Yeah, but they're a little more expensive.
Oh, sure.
Like this one I think is like $65 or something like that. The single barrel bottled
the special one.
Yeah. But I think the Lazy River, out of all the kind of generic spirits direct bourbons, this one struck me as a little more expensive. I can't remember the exact price, but I think it was like $30 or something like that. Which
for $7.50?
Yeah, for these was expensive. So I'm interested to see what this one does.
Oh, and it's still a 90.
Mm-hmm. But then again, there are some great 90 proofers out there.
Sure. Nothing unique on the nose.
Not a whole lot different than the last one on the nose.
Right.
Maybe this falls into that category of they're from the exact same place.
It's kind of toasted barrel.
You've mentioned getting kind of a metallic note on stuff before. I think I'm finally seeing it.
Huh.
I don't know, that's got a weird taste to it to me.
It does. It has a weird dryness in the middle. Like, it's got initial flavor, which is very, like, oak forward. A little bit of caramel and a little bit of sweetness, but not super sweet.
I'm not getting any of that.
But then it really drops off. And you get just a dry...
It's very basic, but there's just something odd about it.
It tastes like bourbon in many ways, and it's fine, but it's certainly not the most well-balanced and rounded.
Yeah, that's got like a weird... So, quick story, and I'll make this very brief, but I was in Total Wine one night, and the guy there, of course, was recommending me all these bourbons that all happened to be Spirits Direct bourbons. And another dude came in with, I'm assuming was his wife, and I overheard the guy recommend, he's like, hey, have you tried this Lazy River? Yeah, this is really good. They were looking, I was listening to them talking, I can't help it.
Eavesdropping. Yeah.
Well, I can't help it, you know, somebody's talking about bourbon.
Yeah.
And they were talking about they wanted to get a gift bottle for somebody who likes bourbon.
That seems to happen a lot, you know?
Or who's into bourbon at least to a certain degree.
Do you think we should post
and
our
I ended up
address?
talking to him and mentioned the channel, and he's commented a couple of times.
Cool.
I'm sorry I can't remember your name offhand because that was a couple months ago and I'm terrible with names, but if you're watching, cheers. And so the guy left and I just leaned in, I was like, not for nothing, I have never had Lazy River before. They were debating between Lazy River and Woodford. And I was like, you can't go wrong with Woodford. It's good bourbon. I don't know about the Lazy River, but now having this finally, I absolutely stand by that. But yes, I have become that guy that like...
Yeah, well, that's okay.
You know, if I can insert some bourbon knowledge into somebody who I can tell can't, you know, is having a hard time making up their mind or something like that, maybe, you know, give a little advice, unsolicited.
So this is Mcfarland's, which we recently did a review of. Mcfarland Reserve. This is 90 proof. you said. And we actually kind of liked it. Like it was.
Yeah, I mean, I have not had a hard time putting a dent in this bottle.
Yeah, it's. I think gonna be a big step. Hopefully, it's a big step up. So let's.
I think it already is on the nose. It's a nice bourbon. It's a wheater. It's only 3 years, but to be honest, for 3 years,
not getting a ton, to be honest. It's light. It's very light.
Butterscotch and birthday cake and grain.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking butter, like buttered bread.
Yeah. Well, that's got that grain forward.
Yeah, the wheat.
We did another review recently where we talked about, we did another like younger wheater. And I wonder if just wheated bourbons can handle a little bit less time in the barrel and still bring some flavor.
Sure.
Because that seems to kind of be the case.
I think so.
So far, this is the best out of all of them.
So I just had a pour or a drink of this. I like it. It's kind of like it's not offensive in any way.
No, not at all.
It's not amazing if you're a bourbon nerd, but it's got nice flavors.
It does the trick.
It does.
If of all the ones we've had already in the previous flight and this one, if I'm going to pick a pour of one to just sip neat, it's going to be this one for
so
sure.
far. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not bad.
Yeah. Again, butterscotch, some birthday cake a little bit, and some grain. You really get the wheat.
Yeah.
In it.
They actually make, what is it, 100 proof, like 10 year of this?
90 proof 12 year. You were close.
Oh.
Finished in some sort of wine cask. Cabernet, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of finishing wine casks, this is Wellington Creek. This is a Pinot Noir cask finish. This one is 90.4. So we get the extra 0.4
Always
in proof on this one. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.
Yeah, 4. Yep.
So we've also had this. We've done a review of this previously.
Yep.
And we thought it was all right.
So this one's finished, and so who knows? That sometimes takes bourbon in a weird direction.
This, the Mcfarland Reserve, by the way, is about 17, 18, 19 bucks, something like that.
Okay.
Just barely sub 20. The Wellington Creek, I think, was 20 bucks. Okay. So they're all still budget friendly. Definitely a little more complexity than any of the ones we've had so far.
Yeah. Pepper spice.
Really? I suppose I can see a little bit of pepper in there.
Yeah, not like, okay, so maybe not the spice, just the pepper smell. But anyway, I'm going for it. Better mouthfeel.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely get the secondary barrel on it.
Yep.
It's got some of those wine cask notes, which to me can go either really well or
almost
really
a bit
poorly.
of cherry.
Yeah.
It's light.
Cherry cordial, like that cherry cream. Not bad for $20. I don't hate that.
Right.
I don't know if it's something that I'm gonna sip on neat a whole lot. I mean, I've had this bottle for a little while. It's just, I feel like this flavor profile needs a little more proof.
It would be nice.
I always like a little more proof, but this flavor profile in particular, being watered down, I think does it. Whereas this one at the same proof, I think drinks a little bit better. Like, I feel like this one is a little smoother at the same proof. And that's not necessarily what I'm looking for.
Sure.
But not bad. Definitely, you know, these two are...
I think these are legitimate bourbons. Like, it may be not your favorite thing, but I think these are fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing, like, offensively wrong with them.
No, not at all.
They may be a little weak for you or a little bit underaged or so on, but, you know, bourbon's bourbon. So these two are passable as legitimate bourbons that anybody could own. These, people will make fun of you.
I wouldn't bother with either one of those, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially that Lazy River at the higher price point. Now, it's not expensive, but like I said, I think it was around the $30 mark. And yeah, hell no.
Okay.
All right.
And now we come to your favorite bourbon of all time ever in the history of the world.
Well, we've got a story about this one. So we've done the, we've had the Oregon Spirit regular. So this is just the regular Oregon Spirit, just straight American bourbon whiskey. This one is 94 proof. So let's go in for this. There was not a lot left in that little mini bottle because that was already open. Sure. Did a little tasting of it.
Ooh, heavy Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, totally.
Unbaked bread, dough.
Play-Doh, must.
Yeah. Recently cut lawn.
And I remember, green, like wet green grass. I remember we liked this one a little bit better than this one. Spoiler alert. So let's go in for the taste here.
All right.
Small taste because there's not a lot. Man, that's just weird. I don't know. There's something about...
So this one actually is from Oregon, and I'm not just making a joke on the name. It's almost like the corn tastes different from Oregon. Like it's bourbon, but it's different.
Who knows if they're actually getting their corn from Oregon, though?
Well,
It says grain to glass on their website.
Yeah,
so
it does. Yeah,
I think they're doing their own grains. And
Yep, it's just something about it is like it's almost there, but not quite.
there's something about this that rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, agreed. And again, if you're gonna mix it, then it'd be fine. But all you're doing is masking the thing that's not.
And
normal
these are
bourbon.
these are like normal price bourbons in the $30 to $40 range, I believe.
Okay. And at that price point, there's legitimately other competitors.
There are
that
a billion other things I would choose over this for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just got too much of that musty. The Plato note is there. And we've had the Plato note on bourbons we love.
And we're not referring to Plato the philosopher. It's legitimately.
Probably should clarify that. So now that brings us to the Oregon Spirit single barrel bottled in bond.
Which
we're at 100 proof.
legitimately is, you're speaking our language at that point.
Yes.
And
now,
it's really hard to mess it up. But guess what?
here's our history
Spoiler
with this
alert.
bottle. I wanted this bottle for quite a while. It was one of those ones I had my eye on at Total Wine.
Because you were talked into the whole Spirits Direct thing early
No,
on.
this is before that. This is before they really started
Okay,
pushing all
sure.
that stuff. And then a friend of mine just randomly bought me this bottle as a gift. And I was like, oh, that's great, because I was going to go pick that up. And then we were pouring it. We opened it up, freshly. Poured a glass for him. He drank it and immediately went, oh, God, no, I don't like that at all. And so it's kind of like, oh, okay, it was weird. And then so I had a sip of it. It tasted really weird. There's just something off about it. But I already had a couple bourbons before that, so I thought maybe it was just the
Sure, maybe too. Maybe he's
being
not that good
thrown
of a
off
friend.
by the other ones. Well, I mean, he's a great friend because he bought this bottle for me, and it was I think it's $65.
Yeah, it's fairly expensive.
So after tax, I mean, you're running over $70 for this bottle.
Yeah.
I've had a bunch of pours since then, and it is an odd tasting bourbon. Which right now, it's not coming across quite as odd, which is weird.
I think I can see where it's going to go, and so I'm going to see. So between the proof and the age, it does come across as much smoother and quality aging in the barrel, but it still has a flavor.
It has something on top of, I get what you're saying, for sure. Like there's bourbon underneath there.
Yes.
But there is almost something, and I'm not kidding, there's something that reminds me of almost like chlorine on top of this. There's a weird note to it, and it's a single barrel, so I don't know if it's just the barrel because I've heard other people.
It's the same note I get in this.
But I was just gonna say that it's there a little bit in this one too.
Legitimately, it's your kids playing with Play-Doh and that smell. Like it's
there's that Play-Doh is really present on this, and it's not working in its favor.
But maybe that's the pot still. Like I don't know if it's pot stilled, but we've theorized about that before. There's just something about this that is just
There's something
not-
different though. Besides, take another sip of it. Besides the Play-Doh note, there is something just weird about this bourbon. This is maybe the weirdest tasting bourbon I've ever had.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. I think this might be the weirdest tasting bourbon I've had.
I genuinely think it's the corn is different. It's still corn. It's still 51% at least corn, but it is a different type of corn, something is totally different. Maybe it's the water. There's something.
I don't know what it
Maybe
is.
it's the yeast, but there is something about this that is significantly different. It still qualifies as a bourbon, but it's
I mean,
that kind
if
of
somebody
bourbon.
poured this for you and just said, here, this is a whiskey, would you say, oh yeah, that's definitely bourbon?
I think it drinks way more like just a generic American whiskey.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have traditional
But it's got something
bourbon
different that I
notes.
don't even find in normal American whiskeys. Like it's just,
And there's still that flavor.
there's
that is,
almost, it's almost like a chemical note on top of it.
Yeah.
Like I said, it reminds me of like the smell of a chlorinated pool area, like an indoor chlorinated pool.
bad, but all right, I'm gonna do the Benny Walker special.
Let's do it.
Because that's
Yeah, so here's the thing. As much as I loved getting this as a gift because I was gonna buy it anyway,
and I was actually thinking about buying it too because they were trying to talk me into it.
for the $65 that this cost pre-tax, boy, I would not recommend it.
You know, this is going to be a rather solid pour. I'm not sure I can
have
finish.
any of the regular Oregon Spirit left.
I don't. Well, you don't need it. Trust me. Here, have double of the whatever this was called, Winchester, because that'll improve things. So I don't know if I'm actually going to finish this. And I don't think.
Oh, that is a thick pour.
It is a thick pour.
Well, see how it is. Maybe it's good.
I don't know if I've ever poured whiskey down the drain before, but that is definitely.
Honestly, I'm getting a lot of the Mcfarland out of the nose on this.
I get lots of grassy grain notes. Like they all drink young, underaged, low char barrels. I don't know.
Just nothing bold about any of them.
Nothing interesting. And they all
blend is
tend.
not good.
No, it's not. They all tend to bring negative qualities. And so I
don't think this one really has negative qualities.
I think this one's fine.
Yeah.
And I think this one is okay.
I would say the Wellington Creek is
Yep.
okay. I think the Wellington Creek is a good intro to a port cask finish if you want to try something cheap, because they tend to be a little more expensive.
True.
And you can definitely get the cask finish on that. And so if you just want to know what it can do to a bourbon, now this is not the best one. It's not the most high quality.
I think these two are okay. Like,
yeah.
These
but
two, I think they're okay.
Yeah, if you just want to see what that note kind of adds, you will get it off of this one, and you won't spend a lot of money to experiment with it.
But the other 10, I think legitimately, we've been doing this channel for a year. We've done over 100 videos and way over 150 reviews if you count,
flights and stuff like that. Yeah.
There have only been 2 or 3 bourbons that I think are legitimately bad. And I know I occasionally get criticized for, being too positive on everything, but I think 10 out of these 12 are legitimately the 10 worst bourbons we've had this year.
Yeah, they're just not good.
They're not.
The Oregon Spirit, again,
I think that
because
was weird.
it's so expensive, if you're going to spend $65 on a bourbon, think of what you can get.
Here's what I would say. This is always available to try at Total Wine.
For the most part, they usually have
Try it first.
Yeah.
There's probably plenty of people out there who like that flavor.
They love doing tastings of the Spirits Direct stuff. So
try it first and be honest. Hopefully you get that note and you either decide I like it or I don't. But definitely try it first. And I would say for any of these, because certainly plenty of people may like Winchester or whatever.
I would say, in short, for this whole flight, for the money, like a couple of these were $10, fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
But for a $7.50 of Evan Williams Black Label, like we were talking about in the last flight, I think that's like what, $12, $13 or something like that. Get a Jim Beam, get an Evan Williams. I like to support craft distilleries, but I don't even think these are craft distilleries because they're mass producing a ton of whiskey for Total Wine.
I think so. I don't think they're craft.
They're just smaller individual brands coming from a bigger place, I think.
Yep.
And to be honest, for the money, I don't know if I'd recommend any of them. Maybe the Mcfarland.
I think Mcfarland is interesting. I like both of these. So I would say
clear winners out of all of them,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. Everything else.
And they're each about $20.
Yeah.
20 or sub 20. So I would recommend at least trying one of those. I don't think you're going to regret it. Whereas if you buy a bottle of this, Winchester or whatever.
Or that Black Eagle or the 2 Stars or.
Yeah. I wouldn't bother with that. There's just too much other good stuff out there.
Within $2 or $3.
Yep, exactly. So, well, this has been fun. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and there are actually a ton more Spirits Direct. Like even Winchester, they've got like a 10-year or something like that. This has got a 12-year. Yeah. So maybe at some point we'll do tier 2 of this, but this has been fun for a Friday night to drink 12 bourbons, and now we're gonna go drink some more bourbon, and we're gonna do a Zoom call with our Patreon friends. So that'll be fun and have a cigar. So. Anything else you want to throw in about any of these?
I think I've said enough.
Yeah, I think we have.
I think Mr. Total Wine's gonna unsubscribe at the end of this video. But
yeah, maybe.
Sorry to see you go. We gave it an honest effort, but I just can't endorse most of these.
Yep, for sure. All right, well, this has been
maybe it's Mrs. Total Wine. I don't know.
Who knows? This has been our Total Wine 2 flights on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Thanks for watching. Cheers.